Hello there everyone. Lovely to be with you again today. Our study is in 1 Kings chapter 10. Solomon has just become king of Israel. God comes to him in a dream as a young king and says, Solomon, ask me for anything that you want and I'll give it to you. Wow, that's a blank check if ever there was one. Wonder if God asked you today, what is it you really want? I wonder what you would say. Maybe you'd ask for a lot of money. Maybe you'd ask that your lottery ticket would come up. Maybe you'd ask for healing or for health or for help for some of your family or those that you love. Maybe you've got somebody in hospital. I wonder what you would ask for. Solomon could have asked for anything because that's what God said. But you know what he asked for? That's right. He asked for wisdom. He said, Lord, I'm just a young king. And your people of Israel are a great people. I feel like a child. Please give me wisdom that I can govern them and be a good king. And God was really pleased with Solomon's request. And God said, because you've asked for wisdom and not for riches, not for a long life, not for victory over your enemies, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you wisdom. There will never have been a king before you with such wisdom as I'm going to give you. And there will never be a king after you. I'm going to give you wisdom. You are going to be known all over the world and all down through history for that wisdom. But I'm also going to give you riches. And I'm going to give you honour. And if you stay close to me and keep my commandments, I'm going to give you a long life as well. And Solomon woke up and realized it had been a dream, but it was real. And God gave Solomon wisdom. And God gave Solomon riches. There was nobody like him before or since. And Solomon built the temple and he had his palace and everything was established. And one day the Queen of Sheba came to see him, a very wealthy woman in her own right. She'd heard of the fame of Solomon. She wanted to see for herself, and she entered Jerusalem with great pomp and ceremony, with camels carrying spices and gold and gems from her country. And she came to see King Solomon. And wow, when she saw for herself, it took her breath away. When she saw his palace, when she saw the meals that were served, when she saw his courtiers in their uniforms and dresses, when she saw his waiters in their beautiful clothes, when she saw the crystal, when she saw these elaborate burnt offerings that were offered on the steps of the temple, it just took her breath away. And she said, Solomon, I heard about your fame. But you know, she said, I thought it might have been exaggerated. But really, she said, it's more than I could have imagined. And she asked him all sorts of questions. She poured out everything that was on her heart and on her mind. And Solomon answered every question. He wasn't stumped for an answer. And she knew that God had really given this man blessing after blessing and great wisdom. She said, Solomon, your people are so lucky to have a king like you. a king that knows justice, a king that looks after his people, a king that's so wise as you. They're so lucky. They're so blessed to live here and to hear your wisdom and to be part of it all. And she says, your God has really blessed you and really blessed your people with such a king as you. And she gave Solomon huge present, 4.5 tons of gold and sacks of gems and spices. Oh, she blessed him with so many things, and he gave her all that she wanted, plus the great gifts that he had for her as well. And so it was a royal visit, and it was a great blessing to both parties. What a king, what a man was this man Solomon. As we think of King Solomon and all that he did and all that he had, this most wonderful king reminds me of a wee word that Jesus spoke when he was here on earth. He said, a greater than Solomon is here. He was referring to himself. You know, Solomon in all his greatness and all his wisdom pales into insignificance when we think of King Jesus. But you say, Jesus, the poor carpenter that didn't have much money, that didn't have anywhere to live, that was crucified and died on a cross, buried in a stranger's tomb. You say, Jesus a king? Yes. Ah, yes. Oh, there's no king like my Jesus. 3 days later, his father raised him from the dead. Ah, Solomon is dead and gone. Ah, yes, he'll be in the glory, but you know, my Jesus, his tomb is empty. And Jesus has ascended. He's at the right hand of God. He's King of kings and he's Lord of lords. And all the treasures of knowledge and wisdom dwell with him. Oh, my Jesus is the wise one. My Jesus is the wealthy one. He's Lord of the universe. He's King of kings. And you know this? He's my Father. He's my brother. He's my God. He's my Lord. And he has gone to prepare a place for me. In a place where the streets are made of gold. It says Solomon made silver as nothing because everything was made of gold. Solomon had riches, but my nothing like the riches of heaven, like the riches of glory, like the riches of my Jesus. Solomon had a beautiful throne made of ivory and all these lovely things, but there's no throne like the throne of my Jesus. And one day I'm going to bow there and I'm going to see his hands with the nail prints in them where he bore the cross for me. Oh, I love Jesus today. He's my King and he's my God. And I tell you, I would love to tell you all about him. And everything I said wouldn't be an exaggeration. Words just fail me to talk of his beauty and of his glory and of his wisdom and of his love. Oh, he loves you today. He loves me today. And he wants us to be with him round his table in glory forever and forever. Oh, I want to ask you today, do you know him? I want to ask you today, are you looking forward to seeing him? I want to ask you today, has he gone to prepare a place for you? Oh, my beautiful Saviour gave his blood for me on the cross that I might be washed from my sins and made ready for the beautiful heaven. Oh, he's going to change my body, going to have a new body like his and spend eternity in his lovely presence. How about it today? Do you love Jesus? Are you willing today to come to him? Just say, Lord, forgive me all my sins. Come into my heart. Give me your spirit. Make me one of your children. I want to see you and be with you forever. Trixie and I love you all very, very much. And we want you to know the King. Thank you for being with us. And see you again soon.
If sorrow and thorns are the crown that you have worn, then who is like the lover of my soul? If sorrow and thorns are the crown that you have worn, then who is like the lover of my soul?